What is up, guys? Today we're gonna show you the evolution of skills in football.
The first big revolution of football skills started in the 1950s with Pele. He introduced the Brazilian street football style Jenga into the game and made skills famous. Up until this point, skills was not a big part of football because of the unevenness of the ball and the poor quality of the pitch, but Pele was an exception. Some skills Pele used a lot was fake shots, nutmegs, close control dribbling and bursts of speed around defenders.
Later on in the 1960s, the player Garrincha introduced a lot of new skill moves to the game of football. For example, the exaggerated stepovers, the flicks over the defenders. Another very skillful player was obviously Johan Cruyff, who introduced a type of fake shot where he brings the ball behind his standing foot, which is one of the most iconic skills of all time and is also very much used these days.
Later, in the 80s, Maradona brought more skills to the game of football. Maradona made roulette famous and was one of the first to start using the sole of his boots when dribbling. And this enabled Maradona to nutmeg people that came from any direction. He was one of the first players to use stepovers, and of our knowledge, the first player to use Rabona in game. He's one of the most revolutionary players of all time, and many people say that Pele brought the skill to the game and Maradona brought the magic.
The next player to really revolutionize how skills were in football was Ronaldo Nazario, also known as El Fenomeno. He brought a bunch of combos that we had never seen before. Previously, people had taken maybe one stepovers or perhaps even two if they were like the best skillers in football, but Ronaldo stepped it up and sometimes he took 4 stepovers at the time. Ronaldo often started off his combos using a ball roll and then doing stepovers. He also used the Croqueta a lot to go past players, and obviously the Elastico was also a skill move. He made it very famous. Ronaldo also performed these skill moves at an incredible pace, which kind of made it impossible to defend against him, and he also went around the keeper a lot, which was something we hadn't seen that much of before.
Another big name in the evolution of football skills is JJ Okocha. He was one of the most entertaining football players to watch of all time. JJ Okocha brought street football skills we have never seen before into the game of football.
From the 2000s, the evolution of skills took a huge leap when Ronaldinho entered the game. He was one of the most skillful players ever, and obviously he brought the samba style to football. His style of play was very playful, he always smiled when playing football, and he obviously had a few skills that were kind of his trademark moves. For example, the Elastico, the typical snake move which we all know him from. And he also had his own like step over combo where he first touches the ball with the inside of his foot, which was really revolutionary. Kind of in a similar way to JJ Okocha, he did a lot of rainbow flicks, and he also specialized in nutmegging people, and he also was one of the first people to do scoop turns, and also perhaps the first professional Hocus Pocus. Overall, Ronaldinho was one of the most skillful players of all time, such a joy to watch. and he has inspired a whole generation.
From one icon to another, Cristiano Ronaldo is definitely a player that doesn't need an introduction. From his invention of the chop to the perfection of stepovers, Ronaldo has definitely put his mark on football forever. He dribbled with speed like no other, and every kid at some point wanted to be like him.
From the 2010s, Neymar has been the most revolutionizing player in terms of skills in football. Neymar kind of takes inspiration from every great football skiller ever, so you know, people like Ronaldinho, Cristiano Ronaldo, JJ Okocha, and I also think Robinho was a huge influence to him. Whenever Neymar plays in a game, you can expect a bunch of nutmegs, a rainbow flick galore, and he just humiliating every single defender on the pitch. Overall, his wide array of skills makes him one of the most aesthetically pleasing football players ever to watch, and he drives all the defenders crazy. A lot of other players have obviously influenced how skills are used in football. For example, players like Iniesta, who introduced La Croqueta, Mahrez, who has perfected his fake shots, kind of similar to what JJ Okocha did, and obviously Yannick Bolasie, who tries to humiliate every single opponent on the field, and players like Mugiri, Ribery, and also Firmino, who has this spin, which a lot of people are using nowadays. And lastly, players like Messi, who take it back to the basics and has a very similar dribbling style to Maradona. Not too many skills, but he really emphasizes his body feints and is one of the most effective dribblers out there.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know down below what was your favorite player and era. Let's aim for 3,000 likes on this video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Only a very small percentage of you are actually subscribed, so it would be amazing if you could subscribe if you are brand new around there or haven't done so before. We really appreciate all the support, and we'll see you next weekend with another banger. Party along, party along, party along, party along. Let's leave this party alone, we can party alone. All in my zone, sipping stereo phone.